YouTube says it has had enough of vaccine misinformation on its site.
And false stories from phony sites to run circles around major news outlets.
Many people don't know the difference between something real and something created to deceive them.
Open your eyes.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
In a dramatic turn of events, federal investigators raiding 2 homes owned by hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs. His properties in Miami and Los Angeles, part of what we're being told is an ongoing investigation. Law enforcement sources familiar with the matter saying the searches are part of a federal investigation led by the Southern District of New York into alleged human trafficking. No charges have been filed.
Now, Combs faces multiple civil lawsuits accusing him of sex trafficking and sexual assault. He has denied all of the allegations. And joining us now with more on this developing story, attorney and ABC News contributor Brian Buckmeyer, and from outside Sean Diddy Combs' home in Los Angeles, our very own Kana Whitworth. Good to have you both with us. Kana, we'll start with you. So what's the latest on the raid that happened yesterday at both properties there in Los Angeles and in Miami?
Well, DeMarco, I'll tell you, it was certainly a chaotic scene yesterday. You could see these federal investigators here at this property in Beverly Hills. They were carrying out boxes. At one point, they were sort of searching through the pool furniture, opening up the cushions back there. So again, a chaotic scene, not just here, though, in Beverly Hills, but as well as across the country in Miami. When they searched this home here, though, in California, 2 of his adult sons were here. They were removed from the property, but no arrests have been made at this point. But as you guys mentioned, he is involved now in several civil suits. All of the allegations in every single one of these suits involves some sort of sexual harassment, but one of them also involves allegations of rape. And these are all allegations that at this point he denies, but clearly this investigation has taken it up a notch.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show exclusively here on acallforanuprising.com. I wanted to do a video about Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Sean Combs, in regards to the supposed raiding of his home, where suddenly our government is going to pretend like they're actually trying to stop child sex trafficking. And of course, we know that that is not the truth of the matter, because most of the government agencies like the CIA, like the FBI, are actually involved in trafficking children. They're fronts that actually traffic children and traffic drugs. And everybody who has any idea of how the CIA works, I mean, the CIA is the drug trade. The CIA is the child trafficking trade. They're the ones responsible. They're the ones who allow it to actually happen. So when we see a story like this, it's important to note that, yes, it is 100% factual that Sean Puff Daddy P. Diddy Combs is a pedophile. Make no mistake about it. Anybody in Hollywood who has the power that these people have, like Puff Daddy, are involved in these types of things. In fact, I'm of the belief that every single person in Hollywood in the day of 2024, in the age or the time period of 2024, who is still allowed to make money, who's still a public figure, who still gets promoted, is involved in this. Now, we can look at this story and we could say, well, why would they suddenly have a story like this out there? Well, I believe there's twofold to it. Yes, there's always the notion that these people, time ticks on these people, and eventually, sometimes there's infighting. Just like in any church, I try to tell people, because we look at them and we're like, oh, they would never. There's always going to be infighting and everything. You go to a church, there's going to be people at the church that probably snicker about you behind your back. We see it all the time just on YouTube or on the internet with ministries and people infiltrating the ministry, or people having agendas in a ministry or attacking them. It always happens. So to think that these people don't have infighting is ridiculous. They do have infighting. There are things that occur inside of these secret societies, specifically when they're asked to pay a due. Okay, I've talked about that many times over. The time comes where these people have to commit a sacrifice, and the refusal to do something, the refusal to do as you're told, will lead to things like this occurring. Now, I'm not saying that that's actually what's occurring here, because we don't know what this is leading to next. Now, one of the things I talked about with Jeffrey Epstein in that list was how it wasn't actually helping get these people arrested. All it was doing was normalizing that celebrities are involved in this. It was shining light on the truth that all these celebrities would go to Jeffrey Epstein's island, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I'm not, obviously the whole thing with Epstein's island is fabricated from the government. It doesn't mean Epstein's not involved in child trafficking. Of course he is. But the whole list, all these things were things the government was force feeding to everyone out there, thinking that they were figuring things out, thinking that there was going to be an end in sight, that these people were going to be arrested. None of them are going to be arrested. Okay, all this ends up doing is normalizing it. Now, whatever ends up happening to a lot of these people, they end up getting shipped off. That's what ends up happening. And they lead people down rabbit holes that are either A, massive distractions, or B, end up actually having a reverse effect in a lot of cases because nothing happens to them. And then we look at it and we go, wow, 100 years ago, if Puff Daddy or any of these people were caught doing this with children, civilians would have went and killed these people and hung these people for their involvement in touching and trafficking kids. Nowadays, we look at this stuff and these people are allowed to get away with murder right in front of our eyes. They're allowed to do these things. We've given them carte blanche. They literally do this stuff. They admit to doing this stuff. I mean, look at the stories they tell us about with the president. Now, of course, a lot of this stuff is fabricated. All these people are actors, so the stories that come with them are obviously stories they want you to know about for a reason. Otherwise, they would bury these stories. You'd never hear about them unless they wanted you to hear. But any of this stuff that was supposedly has happened with Joe Biden and Hunter Biden would have forced civilians at some point many years ago. The civilians would have rose up against a president who was committing treason, who was in bed with other countries. It wouldn't have been a left-right thing. It wouldn't even have been really a story unless they wanted it to be a story. So I want to take a look at Puff Daddy. No matter what your take is on this actual story, there's just some video clips that everybody out there should see that just prove that Puff Daddy is obviously a pedophile. Jay-Z is another guy I've outed many times over. You might remember Jay-Z's backmasking, talking about murder Jesus 666, the disgusting things that this guy has gotten away with. These are the two richest black men in the music industry, they claim, Puff Daddy and Jay-Z. They're obviously linked to each other. But let's start by looking at Puff Daddy just doing basic 666 and all-seeing eye symbolism. Of course, we see him doing the vow of silence, the oath of secrecy, putting the finger over the mouth, where we see all of them do it. Since I started doing this, that was one of those things that never really got talked about. It's good to see that so many people have picked up on the vow of silence and suddenly started, a lot of the videos I did, I would crack jokes about it, just be like, what do you think they're doing? What do you think everyone, and you see the collage of these people. Now, because of that, this specific symbol, the vow of silence, the vow of secrecy, a lot of people have actually realized that it's a Freemasonic symbol, and the core of the occult, the Illuminati, is Freemasonry. It's the same teaching. So we see Puff Daddy doing a lot of those types of Illuminati symbols, not as prominently as some of the other ones, but he's on his magazine covers. He's doing his oaths and his coded symbols that we see them all do. Now, the first clip I want to show you is just really, really disturbing. This is him on one of his social media accounts, okay, admitting that he adopted a daughter, just a white girl that he found on the streets. He was prideful about the fact that he's picked up a white girl. He wants everyone to know that it's consensual. It's really, really sick stuff. Now, a lot of these people get careless and put a lot of this stuff online. So that could be another thing that we look at with these stories as we start saying, like Ali Fontes is a perfect example. James Ali Fontes. The posts that he was putting up were so careless and egotistical that he thought he could get away with those things and that nobody would ever figure it out. A lot of the times when that ends up happening, they have to silence some of their own people because their mouths are too big. They just become big yappers, right? And Puff Daddy's one of these guys too. He's had a lot of fake Hollywood relationships with like the J-Lo types where you look at it and you go, this looks like Michael Jackson with Priscilla Presley or whatever her name is, right? Where you look at it, you say it's arranged, it's not real. Because there's always been the notion, everybody out there has known in Hollywood that Puff Daddy at the very least is homosexual. Well, it's very clear now that Puff Daddy is in fact a pedophile. Okay, this video clip, I'll start here, is just proof that this guy is grooming young children. And he should have just been arrested or investigated based on this that he uploaded to his social media account.
My name's Ava. I'm a Scorpio.
No. What's your last name?
Ava Combs.
What's your other last name?
Ava Baroni.
Eva Baroni Combs? Yes, it was breaking news. Diddy adopted a white child. I want you to tell them the story about how I adopted you. But you still have beautiful parents but you're my child also. But please tell the story.
So, I was on the streets, and then Papa Combs decided that he would like to be a caring man. So then he saw me and decided to pick me up. and said to come inside and play with his kids.
Ava, that's like a little bit like borderline suspect. I don't want nobody, we want to get it clear. I adopted you like Madonna adopted kids and everybody else adopted kids, Charlize Theron, everybody that's ever adopted Sandra Bullock. I adopted you because I felt that you could, enjoy also having a black parent to take care of you and help you out. So, just clarify it, because it's crazy out here online. So play with the kids, and I got permission from your mother, and say all of that, just make it, because it's crazy out here.
I met Jesse and Delilah when I was 6 months old.
6 months.
And then, basically, sisters, four of us. So. And then I always come over.
Yes. And it's Ava Brioni Combs. Come on. Let's go.
So we could all look at that and say it's extremely, extremely careless, right? Putting something like that up online and expecting people not to be suspicious of it, as if this is normal, just some young 14, 15-year-old girl saying that he's adopting her. He even makes mention of all these celebrities who adopt children. And anyone out there that's ever wondered, that's exactly what it is. When you see Madonna and all these witches adopting kids, Charlize Theron, okay, they're adopting them because they're grooming them and they're molesting them. They're not doing it because they're good people and go to third world countries. They do it because they can get away with it. And they've been getting away with it for far too long. As far as I'm concerned, this type of stuff, I don't believe it for 1 second with the FBI helping or trying to stop this stuff. It's just a diversion, and nothing will probably ever happen to Puff Daddy. Maybe they'll mysteriously kill him off and he'll go spend the rest of his days in Israel. But here's another clip. This is one of the most disturbing ones you'll see. With him, well, it's not as disturbing as one you just saw, but it's pretty close. It's neck and neck with Justin Bieber. Of course, Justin Bieber is another one who was groomed by a lot of these guys. Listen to some of the sick stuff he's talking about. This is a grown man talking about hanging out with a 15-year-old kid. Okay? Look at this.
Yeah, so as soon as you get, so as soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come to LA. Yeah, it's gonna be yours. So every time you come to LA, it's a little dusty, but you know, first shot it.
Man.
Minute.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah, when you get 16, you come down there, you gotta, wear your seat.
I mean, I'm 15. You could ride in the passenger seat. I got my permit. Not yet.
No.
16.
No, 16. Let's slow down, Josh.
Okay.
Let's slow down, okay?
One step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours when when you get 16. You're good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
And then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay. I get the mansion.
Yeah.
So where are we off to now?
Where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
He signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
We're going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you want to do? What you want to do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go get some girls.
Man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about, kid.
All right, and in addition to that, you could see this very awkward exchange between the two where Puff Daddy's pretty much leaning over him, kind of upset because he's grown out of it. He's no longer a kid, so he can no longer be groomed. He talked in that clip that you just saw about, custody of the child. Okay, this is just this is even nothing compared to what's really going on with the lights off behind closed doors with these people. But here's an awkward exchange between him and Justin Bieber where you could tell he's disappointed in him because he hasn't been going to his sugar daddy, so to speak.
You never really got...
Everything's good? Selling out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But you never really got my number, so.
Right, okay.
My number?
Yeah, everything's good? Selling out arenas and everything? Starting to act...
You never really got...
Everything's good? Selling out arenas and everything?
So in addition to those things, there's two other clips I want to show you. This is one was just filmed outside of Puff Daddy's house, where his next door neighbor talks about buses of children coming in and 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm showing you this because I've covered 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's significant because 3 o'clock in the morning is the ritual hour. Which is why you always hear songs referencing 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Now I've heard interviews and talked to people who have left the occult back when I first started my channel, trying to interview them for my channel, talking about how they do satanic rituals at 3 a.m. because it's believed that Christ died at 3 p.m. So it's an inversion of Christ, and that they would do the most wicked rituals possible beginning at 3 o'clock in the morning. But here's a guy talking about 3 a.m. rituals at Puff Daddy's.
Yeah, tell them stop bringing all the minors over here late at night. I live right next to him. He do too much. He be like buses, like big-ass buses. You just see all type of shit hop out. Especially at nighttime, like around 3 o'clock in the morning, it gets wild. I'm his neighbor. When my basketball go over there, I just let it be because I don't want to knock on the door.
And again, that's why you always hear about 3 o'clock in the morning. That's why Eminem has a song, 3 a.m. Tons of them do that, right? So in addition to those things, it's important to know Usher, because Puff Daddy was somebody who also groomed Usher. These guys all groom each other. It's just never-ending wicked behavior. They bring people under their wing. They're like, oh, it's like an apprenticeship. Oh, it's, because it's normal for 50-year-old men, 40-year-old men to want to hang out with 12-year-olds. I mean, it's disgusting. And, it's not even, people, it's amazing that they've gotten away with some of this stuff, where we could sit here and we can listen to Usher here talk about parties at Puff Daddy's house when he's 14 years old. Okay, any grown man, no grown man walking earth would want to hang out with 14-year-old boys unless they had some type of disgusting intent. Unless it was a family member and you were like, oh, well, it's my nephew and he's 14 and he hangs out at my house because I'm close with my brother and that's all there is to it. Okay, we're talking complete strangers here at Puff Daddy's mansion, the parents being okay with it. And of course, Usher will tell you that he never let his kids stay there, but I highly doubt that because I'm sure they're going through the same thing that he went through.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
What it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
in the 90s. Do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place. And I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans. Jodeci, Mary J. Blige, they didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
I was having a good time, you know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 in the morning with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
And do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem. I had like,
what
like a living.
Life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
See?
So the signs and all this stuff have always been there with Puff Daddy. The question is, why are they suddenly pursuing Puff Daddy? And we have to look at it and we have to say, would we ever know about this? Of course not. Helicopters conveniently there. This story blasted all over social media. No. So yes, there's distraction elements to it. But there's also the element that I believe is at play here with a lot of these guys in the Epstein list, is that they're literally sitting there saying that they can get away with this stuff. Because do you think something's really going to happen to Puff Daddy? I'd be surprised. I mean, now, obviously, we know that they could just do some fake type of, they suicide him in jail. Oh, what did Puff Daddy know? Was Puff Daddy going to tell secrets? That's kind of the route, obviously, they went with Epstein, and everybody took it hook, line, and sinker. So it's hard, honestly, the more awake you get, you realize that every single story is controlled. Because why would we ever need to hear this story? Are the FBI telling us the story because they care about us? Was a helicopter flying above? What, somebody close by called the police because they saw the FBI, or called TMZ, and they were able to get helicopters and film all this stuff? It's a production. These things are for, they're productions for the people. They're distractions for the people, and nothing ends up ever happening to any of them. But it's worth noting that Puff Daddy is 100% a pedophile. It's no secret that Puff Daddy has been associated with children around Hollywood for a long period of time. It's no secret that Puff Daddy's a homosexual, and it's no secret that most homosexuals end up being pedophiles, or I shouldn't say end up being, are pedophiles. Okay, these are groomers. And really what we're talking about here is a time period where we've allowed these people to openly do a lot of this disgusting stuff right in front of our faces. Okay, we can look at any of these clips, and we should look at these clips, and we should say, how in the world has this guy not had anything happen to him yet? How have civilians allowed this guy to openly talk about some of the stuff with adopting a little girl off the streets, kissing her creepily? I mean, it's sick. It's absolutely sick. And it's Pizzagate all around us, always, with all of them. You wonder if maybe they're gaslighting people with these types of stories for the left-right divide. I mean, it could play a factor in it, because you know that a lot of the people who worship the ground these celebrities walk on, they wouldn't even care if these people were caught as being pedophiles. You think that all of a sudden they'd be like, oh, I hate Puff Daddy, he got caught being a pedophile? They'd be like, whatever, they were 14, okay. Next thing you know, oh, they're 9. Oh, okay. Next thing you know, oh, they're 6. Next thing you know, oh, we're talking about the Talmud. We're talking about 3-month-olds. Well, 3-month-old can make decisions. I mean, they just continue to get away with this stuff because civilians don't do anything. Because, what's the saying, right? Evil prevails when good men do nothing. So the guy's definitely a pedophile. We'll see where the story goes. Some people were talking about it being maybe a distraction. I don't know about that in regards to the bridge blowing up. But I mean, how do you really not blowing up, but the demolition of the bridge in Baltimore that I just did a video on? And you look at that and you go, well, how could you can't really take attention off of what just happened in Baltimore. You can't take attention off of a bridge. I mean, they were never going to be able to hide that. Were they? I mean, no, and they still can't hide it. It's a bridge into Baltimore. It's a big bridge, and it's one of the more bizarre things we've ever seen. That a tanker just goes into a bridge, and the whole bridge just conveniently falls. Almost looks like maybe a controlled demolition in some sense. But this is Puff Daddy, folks. No surprise that he's that he is a pedophile. The surprise is, where's the story going to go? But those clips I showed you should be enough for a citizen's arrest to be made. And really, it's all of Hollywood that's doing this stuff and getting away with it. I want to do a video on it so everybody out there could see it. I don't think I've ever done a video on Puff Daddy before, because since I've started, he's been, he doesn't make music really anymore. He's kind of behind the scenes producing and stuff like that. I guess that's what they claim. Another one of these guys worth billions of dollars, you go, oh, okay, he's worth a lot of money. Does anyone know any songs he has? I mean, I'll Be Missing You. Is that one of his songs? I mean, isn't that from the Police? Every breath you take, every movie. So you look at it, you got to look at a lot of these guys and go, where's the money coming from? That they have so much more money than other people. It's because these people are involved in trafficking. That's why. All of them are. And they all get away with it. And they shouldn't be allowed to get away with it. I thank you guys for being here on the website. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families as always.